Log, Crypt State 6/7/2019.
Life is hard
when you go gimp.
So I've decided to realign my fitness and rehabilitation goals after seeing this guy. That was a short little segment of a workout by Pat McNamara, Pat Mac, or Mac as he likes to be called. Pat McNamara is a retired Army Delta Force Sergeant Major. So he is what you would call a real American badass. When Pat McNamara got out of the Army, he formed a couple of different corporations, one of them being combat strength training. And you can go to combatstrengthtraining.com and look that up on YouTube and see a little bit about what combat strength training is. So in addition to fitness programs for typical people, he also has a history of working with people with disabilities. One of the things that Pat Mac talks about is that any comprehensive workout program should address strength, the ability to generate force, power, the ability to generate force with speed, and muscle hypertrophy, which is muscle size or mass. And he contends that those three things are all equally as important, and any comprehensive workout program should include all of those. So I've been focusing on strength. So now I'm starting to reincorporate concepts of power and muscle hypertrophy. Not necessarily new concepts, but the way that Mac conveys them is very palatable to me, very entertaining. I think his videos are very entertaining. And if you watch him, you can see that this 54-year-old guy is just capable of some amazing things as far as not only strength and power, but balance and all sorts of functional strength things. Another thing that I've been working on is, I know in a previous video I said that since being injured I couldn't circuit train anymore. Circuit training that I used to do was alternating between an aerobic machine, such as my recumbent bike, and anaerobic exercises, such as dumbbells that I did a lot. And because of my mobility issues and ambulation still being difficult for me, any kind of program that alternated between stations, I'd probably spend most of my time simply transferring, which my heart rate would drop, and that wouldn't be accomplishing aerobic goals. Another thing that Pat Mac talks about is this phrase that I think is really catchy that I've memorized, and that's working in anaerobic chunks in circuit to near metabolic threshold to accomplish an aerobic goal. I started to do that, so I've taken 3 or 4 anaerobic exercises that I can do basically in a small area on a bench or with some cables, and done those in circuit repeatedly, taking small rests after, say, 2 or 3 times through the circuit, and it's been really good for me. I've been really successful at doing that. Today I did, with Marshall's help, some work with the cables at NeuroHope and my little bench circuit I've come up with, and was able to max out my heart rate at about 150, which is well into my target zone, actually close to where I want to hit when I'm doing high intensity interval training. I haven't been able to get my heart rate up that high since being injured, and it felt really good. It felt like my brain was saying, oh, what's that? That's oxygen. I haven't felt that in a while. So getting my heart rate up that high was felt really good. So in addition to those concepts, which is kind of harkening back to the video I did the other day on goals, I'm also trying to incorporate basically some holistic things, focusing on coordination, balance, range of motion, agility, and dexterity, All things I'll talk about in depth later. So basically, I'm just trying to do my best to formulate my own personal holistic rehabilitation / fitness program. I think that's really important. I think all the goals that therapists and physicians generate for you are excellent, but the more you can actively participate in your treatment plan, the more invested you are in those goals. I would recommend being tactful. Don't ever go into a physical therapist or a physician demanding they're going to do something, or that you Googled something and read something on the internet and it contradicts what they said, because people don't, especially people who've gone to school and attained degrees and have expertise in those areas, they don't respond well to people who think they're smart after consulting Dr. Google. So very respectfully, go into a therapist or a physician and say, hey, what about this? Can we please try this? A lot of times I think you can tell a good therapist from a bad therapist in how they respond to that. They may respond in saying, we can try it, but in my experience, I don't find that to be helpful, and you need to respect that. Or they may say, hey, let's give it a shot. And there's been a handful of individuals along the way, as far as my recovery is concerned, that have been really, truly amazing as far as respecting the goals that I generate for myself and incorporating them into my treatment plan. So that's it for now. You guys have a great weekend. Remember, if you are dealing with a disability, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Life is hard.
When you go, get it.